Alright, in today's video we're going to do a game review of Felipe's game. He's playing the white pieces here, and he's playing an opponent who's rated about 150 points higher. So we see d4, d5, c4, c6, and Felipe has the ChessGoals Classical 1d4 repertoire. That's a course we offer on our website. There's a link in the description. The line that we recommend is c takes d, and move 4, bishop to g5. This is not a very common move, and it's kind of like a ChessGoals wrinkle in a way. We like to find lines that are just slightly offbeat that can put our opponent into some unknown territory. Here his opponent plays knight c6, he plays knight c3, and bishop to f5 is played. This is the first inaccuracy by black, and this is one of the reasons why this system is so powerful. If black plays knight f6 at any point, we're going to chop the knight off and double black's pawns. And at that point, we'll kind of play this position strategically, work against those double pawns long term. And with a closed position, the bishops tend to get in the way of the pawns, or the pawns in the way of the bishops. So here, bishop f5, slight inaccuracy. Felipe correctly plays pawn to e4, and his opponent plays d takes e4. Also a slight inaccuracy, so it's a little bit better to take with the bishop there, but it's more natural to take with the pawn. Now Felipe again finds the correct move d5. So great job, Felipe, knowing your openings. Yeah, I'm very impressed by how many book moves you played here. Knight to e5 by black, best move. And again, Felipe correctly plays queen to a4 check. So we're 8 moves in. Felipe is following the repertoire really well. And the advantage according to Stockfish is already 1 point for white. So even though black is up 1 pawn, this is an extra pawn. If we kind of compare the pieces, black has all of these pieces to get out, white has all of these pieces to get out, but the e4 pawn is moved. So white's 1 move quicker on development here. And white's development is a little bit better with the queen compared to this queen. And white has a little bit more activity, right? So I think the combination of slightly more activity, the king getting ready to castle a little bit quicker than black's, that's giving white enough compensation. So really white wants to use this initiative and attack. That's how you can show the whole 1 pawn advantage here. So black plays knight e7, and again, following the repertoire, f3, this is all part of the course. And if e takes f3, knight takes f3, we're still down 1 pawn, but look at these kingside pieces for black, and now the knight's out and this bishop is ready to come out on the next move. So black plays h6 here instead of taking on f3, and I like Felipe's decision. F takes e, h takes g, and he played e takes f5. Now we have a very sloppy position, but I think the key advantage for white is that this king can get to safety more quickly than the black king. So here I'm recommending we look to castle queenside as soon as possible. If you can castle queenside and then develop the rest of the pieces quickly, we can really prove that we have an advantage against this black king sitting on e8. So rook h4 was played. Now this is the first move that I think I would change for you, Felipe. You played queen to b5 in the game. I would recommend dropping this queen back to c2. And what we're going to do next is probably play knight to f3, using a chance to develop with the tempo, and queenside castle. All of your pieces will be developed. The bishop on f1 is 1 move away from developing, and look at the black king. It's going to be stuck on e8. So let's give black a move here. Let's say queen b6, maybe trying to get castle queenside themselves. We can play knight f3. I'm not sure what the most useful square is for this rook. He's kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. Let's put him on b4. Queenside castle. Now let's say white tries to queenside castle, or black tries to queenside castle, excuse me. We can now play d6. Big fork threat here. And the computer is saying a 5-point advantage now for white. Let's say king moves, still get the fork, And the queen's actually having trouble because after knight takes rook, if queen takes, there's queen c7. Oh, sorry, even stronger. Queen c7 check right away. Queen takes, pawn takes. We're winning both rooks. So this is looking really strong. If you can get the knight out on f3, queenside castle quickly, I don't think black is going to be in time to castle queenside themselves. Okay, so in the game, queen to b5 was played. Now the problem with the queen on b5 is this could lead to activity for black. Like let's say black plays pawn to a6, queen takes b7, rook to b8. This could give black the type of activity they want, pressuring on the queen side, to make it so that our king does feel more exposed. So we don't have to go for that extra pawn. I think we can play for the activity. So queen b5, knight f6. Now we see g3 by white. Again, here, I think what we want to do is focus on how do we get this king castled as quickly as possible. And I want to castle queenside. I would still start with knight f3. I think this is a useful move. And let's say the rook goes back. Now we could queenside castle, right? And we're looking really good here. And black king is still stuck in the center. So g3, rook to d4 was played by black. Knight to f3, very good move. Rook back to g4. This rook is really running low on squares. And a great move by Felipe, bishop to h3. Really solid. And look at the rook. It doesn't have any squares. Every single square is defended for the rook. So black plays rook e4, and after knight takes, bishop to g2. Again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I think, Felipe, this is the biggest takeaway from the game, is the king's safety. You have a really good position with the initiative, and you did a good job getting your pieces out quickly, but what ended up hurting you was not getting your king to safety. So right here you can castle kingside. Keep this position very safe. And on the next move, you're going to probably put a rook onto e1, lined up with the black king. And Stockfish is saying a 5 or 6 point advantage for white. So you have a really nice position here, if you can get your king safe. So after bishop to g2, black plays knight back to d6. Queen a4, queen to b6. And now knight to e5. This move was a blunder. And after this, black went on to win the game. And I think Felipe wanted me to really focus on what are the middle game plans in this position, or maybe late opening to early middle game plans. Early opening, Felipe played it perfectly. But here, after queen to e3 check, now we really see how this exposed king causes problems for white because black wins another piece back. And even though the conversion wasn't perfect for black in the rest of this game, I think the takeaways are still there. We really want to just get the king to safety. And you had a really nice position. You took advantage of that rook that was coming on the 4th rank. You actually trapped the rook. And I think this is the turning point here. If you get castled, your position looks like it's going to be really solid. Like let's give black, for example, knight d6, what they played in the game. Queen can come back to e2. Now how do we get this king to safety? We'll try queen b6, that was played in the game. We can sidestep. Now is black going to try to queenside castle here? I don't know if this will turn out well. We have knight takes g5, so maybe they'll take the moment to guard g5. But then we have rook c1, cutting off the open file. Yeah, we're looking at a 6 point advantage here for white still. So Felipe, I think overall, very positive game. I was super impressed by your opening. You followed the classical 1d4 repertoire course perfectly. And this is just a learning experience for you. Kind of thinking about getting the king to safety after the opening. So if you get a similar position like this in the future, get that king to safety, and I think you're going to be in really good shape. And for playing someone who is 150 points higher than you, This was a very impressive game. I mean, you almost had the win, I think, if you get the king to safety. So thanks guys for watching the video. Check out the link for the Classical D4 course in the description below. We have preview videos for all 7 chapters. It's a full repertoire for white. It's a video course. You get the PGN, and if you purchase the course, you also get into our Discord server where we have people discussing chess improvement, discussing the course. I'm in there helping answer questions. It's a really great community, so make sure to check out that link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.